With the 2025 NFL Draft come and gone, today I'm going to lay out 4 perfect moves that Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin can still make during the NFL offseason to kind of put the cherry on top of what I think has been a pretty decent offseason to this point. Before we get into it today, guys, and before I reveal my perfect offseason plan for the Pittsburgh Steelers after the NFL Draft, let me know, where are you guys at with where Omar Khan has led us so far this offseason? Do you think he's done a great job, a good job, or not as good of a job? Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F to kick off today's show. For me personally, it really depends on Aaron Rodgers, which is the first move that I'm going to discuss today. First thing you got to do, and the priority number 1 is to get Aaron Rodgers on your roster. All right, you've put in too many resources, and you've made too many decisions that indicate that this is going to happen for it to not happen. All right, like if Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin are not able to get Aaron Rodgers at this point, despite investing as much time and resources as they have into him, like their jobs are on the line. For me, period. Okay, like if they can't get them and they stink this year, see ya. We're hiring a new GM and head coach that can actually land these guys, as opposed to guys that wait around forever and then get cucked at Brandon Ayuk, at Aaron Rodgers. 2 off seasons in a row is too much for me. All right, but let's be completely honest. I get that people don't love Aaron Rodgers as a person. I understand all those reasons. And especially because now he's making the Steelers wait, I think that's even more gasoline to the fire here that makes people just not want him to be the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But out of the options that are still available, with the NFL Draft now passed, Rodgers is clearly the best quarterback option available for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they want to win a Super Bowl, or at least they want to try to win a Super Bowl in 2025. And, part of the reason for that is because of the skill level he still brings to the table. I thought he got better as the season went on with the New York Jets last year, but also because he's cheap. All right, 1 year, $10 million, that is less than Daniel Jones, ladies and gentlemen. And you can get this guy, and hopefully you can get some of that Brett Favre magic that Minnesota got in 2009. Maybe you can get some of that Tom Brady magic that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got in 2020. It's happened before, guys, where a quarterback, a future Hall of Fame quarterback, past the age of 40, has gone to a new team and has succeeded. I believe Aaron Rodgers could be that next quarterback if he comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the fact that you can get him on a 1-year, $10 million deal is an absolute steal. And, I'm sorry, guys, but Mason Rudolph and Will Howard, for as much as I like that these guys are here as this team's QB2 and QB3, I think they're very good in those roles. Neither of them are viable options to start week 1. Not if you want to win a Super Bowl, not if you want to compete for a title like this team claims to want to do. All right, like Mason Rudolph can get you to maybe 9 or 10 wins if things go well, but you're probably going to lose in the first round of the playoffs, just like they did in 2023. I don't think he has the talent to elevate this roster beyond that. And then Will Howard, for as nice as some of his physical tools are, he needs development. You can't throw him into the fire year 1 because I don't think his mental processing, accuracy, and pressure management is ready to go on day 1. I think he needs at least a year, maybe even 2 years learning behind a veteran quarterback before you even think about putting him out there as your starting quarterback for a season. All right, so where I'm at is you can't guarantee, and I can't guarantee, that Rodgers will be successful this year. It's very possible that he signs on here and he loses his arm strength and he's just not accurate at all and he sucks. All right, that's very possible. But I do know he gives this team the best chance of hitting like Brett Favre did in Minnesota, like Tom Brady did in Tampa Bay. That's still a very real possibility for the Pittsburgh Steelers here, given Aaron Rodgers' arm talent and football intellect. I'm not going to rule that possibility out. And if I'm the Steelers, I'm trying to win a Super Bowl, Rodgers gives me the best chance to do that. So it's a no-brainer for me, especially at 1 year, $10 million, to sign Aaron Rodgers as a part of my perfect offseason plan. So let me know down there in the comments section, should the Steelers give up on signing Aaron Rodgers at this point? Type W if you would wait for him, or type P if you would pass on him and go with Mason Rudolph or Will Howard as your starting quarterback next year. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds, and when that happens, take advantage of that time. But let me know how you would handle the Aaron Rodgers saga. Second player that I would sign as a part of this perfect post-draft plan is Asante Samuel Jr. Now, I'm not sure if the Steelers are even interested in signing a corner, but if they do, I want somebody that can play in the slot, because you do bring in Darius Slay this year to play alongside Joey Porter Jr. Right now, Beanie Bishop Jr. Started about half your games last year in the regular season, played pretty decently, had some big-time plays, some big-time game-sealing interceptions even, played with really good instincts, but he's just so tiny that he's a liability in coverage at times, all right? So I think that he's in the pole position to win the slot job, but there's also guys like Dante Kent, Sebastian Castro, Brandon Echols. All those guys can also vie for the starting nickel position. But if they wanted to go out and get somebody that could just lock up that position from the second he signs on the dotted line, Asante Samuel Jr. is that type of guy. Now, he has played mostly on the outside in his NFL career, but his skill set would translate beautifully into the slot, in my opinion, guys. He can play outside and in, has experience doing both. And hey, if Darius Slay sucks or if he gets injured, you can put Asante Samuel Jr. there on the outside, and it really goes off without a hitch because you can put in whoever your second nickel guy is, Beanie Bishop Jr., Dante Kent, Sebastian Castro, whoever's slotting in as your backup nickel. If Darius Slay stinks or gets injured, like you can transition to Asante Samuel playing on the outside. Now, another guy that you could consider here is Mike Hilton, who's experienced in this defense. He's a terrific blitzer from the slot. He doesn't have outside versatility, so that's why I prefer Asante Samuel Jr. to Mike Hilton. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if this team brings in Hilton to be this team's starting slot next year. Remember, last year they brought in Cam Sutton later on in the offseason. It wouldn't shock me at all if they bring in another slot corner free agent sometime during the offseason, and it could be Mike Hilton. So coming up here on my perfect offseason plan, post-draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I've still got 2 more moves that I would make if I were Steelers GM Omar Khan to finish out my offseason. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Fanatics, where you guys can get a brand new DK Metcalf Steelers jersey in your closet today if you haven't gotten one by going to chatsports.com/DK. Also helps out the channel financially, guys, because when you go down there, chatsports.com/DK, click that link, and then you make a purchase, Fanatics sends us part of the proceeds. So that helps us keep the lights on, pay rent, buy new equipment, purchase new software for graphics and stuff like that. It really is a big help, guys. So if you want to help us out and you want to help yourself out by getting a brand new DK Metcalf jersey, you can go chatsports.com/DK and get that in your closet today. I'm going to get some offensive line depth here to kind of finish out the interior of the offensive line with John Feliciano, formerly with the San Francisco 49ers, dealt with a knee injury last year, but I'm very excited to see what Feliciano is going to be able to do heading into this next season. And if he's willing to come here as a depth interior lineman that's played left, right guard, plus center, I mean, I like that a lot more than like Spencer Anderson as your backup plan at the guard positions. I like that a lot more than Ryan McCollum as your backup center option if Zach Frazier, God forbid, goes down. Feliciano is experienced in a wide zone system playing in the San Francisco 49ers. And when he was playing with the Niners in 2023, he had a PFF grade of 79.8, which is not bad at all. That's actually a really, really good grade. And it's not like PFF grading is gospel or anything like that. But he played significant snaps for San Francisco that year, and they went to the Super Bowl. Okay, so he is coming off that season-ending knee injury. I don't think anybody really views him as a starting level player. So if he wants to go to a team that's trying to win now, that there's going to be injuries that happen. He can play left or right guard and center. I think he's the perfect swing interior offensive lineman, and he's probably going to come super cheap. So I would love to add him to this group. Then my final thing that I would do here is I would extend T.J. Watt. Now, if they wanted to extend some other players that are slated to be free agents, Deshaun Elliott, Jalen Warren, Miles Killebrew, other players like that, that's fine. But T.J. Watt's the one that, in my opinion, you have to get done this offseason, okay? Because T.J. Watt is the most valuable player on this team, and it is not close. And by the way, he is the most valuable defensive player in football. And by the way, it's not close, all right? Like, you can take a look at the numbers for T.J. Watt, which we'll look at here in just a second. But obviously, if you can sign him for anything under $40 million per season, which is what Myles Garrett got, that's ideal. That would be fantastic if you can get this kind of caliber of player for less than top of market value. But if that's what TJ wants, I'm perfectly fine paying that. I think that he's worth every single penny of that, especially if the Steelers are trying to win now, and I'm not willing to risk a holdout or him missing time or whatever this offseason in a contract dispute. That's not something I want to do. So you take a look at his general impact here, and the games that he has played versus the games that he hasn't played. He's only missed 11 games in his career since 2017, but the win percentage goes from you win 2/3 of your games with him to less than 10% of your games without him. They're 1-10 in games without TJ Watt on the field for that game. Then you look at the offensive points per game that they get. All right, the offense does better because they get more turnovers and they get better field positioning. You average 22.2 points per game on offense with Watt on the field, and without him, 16.6. Without that really good field position and turnover help and all that stuff, without Watt on the field, this offense has been awful. Okay, then you go into the opponent's points per game. I'll go back there, Coop. The opponent's points per game there. You get a touchdown less per game for your opponent when TJ Watt plays. You get over a sack more per game. It's like a sack and a half more per game with Watt on the field, and you get more turnovers as well. Then you go to the 2024 impact for TJ Watt here. It's very similar. All right, like you give up more than you get more than a touchdown per game. That's like 8 points per game right there on offense with Watt on the field or before the injury versus after the injury. The opponent's points per game. I mean, the defense gave up 10 less points per game with him on the field, ladies and gentlemen. The sack production, once again, was much higher, and the turnover production was once again much higher before he injured that ankle versus the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 15. So for me, it's a no-brainer, guys. The impact TJ Watt has on this defense is irreplaceable, and if you want to compete for a title this year, which the Steelers claim that they do, you have no choice. You have to pay up, and you have to lock up TJ Watt for the long term. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. Is TJ Watt still the best defensive player in all of professional football? Give me a yes or a no down there in the comments section. For me, the answer is a clear yes. Go ahead and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of today's video. We got more stuff on the Steelers coming out this weekend on this channel for free, so make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.